Hello, less photogenic weather today, although my photochromic lenses in my glasses are still triggered full blast, so apologies for not being able to look in your eyes. Anyway, this is the second video in the series I'm recording about Hifi reviewing. I'm at some lake where my 5-year-old is ostensibly learning to swim. He's not even in the water, so I don't know how that's going. This one is about who reviews are even for, and that might seem like a stupid question because like the word review implies independence. So you're thinking it's someone looking at a product to gauge whether it's any good. And yeah, that's part of it. A review exists to let consumers find out about a product's qualities and capabilities, its faults and features, and figure out what, or get an idea of whether that product is worth considering for their system. You should, of course, never buy anything based on reviews alone, but it can act as a useful filter because there's a lot of products out there, and reviews can help you whittle down what is worth evaluating. But reviews also serve the manufacturers and distributors and retailers that want to get word out about their gear. And those two objectives are in conflict with each other. So who are reviews for? In the major audiophile magazines and websites, subscriptions and memberships pay for only a fraction of the sort of necessary revenue to keep the lights on. Instead, it is advertising that pays most of the bills. Most of the time, yes, there are exceptions, but most of the time this is how it works. And the advertisers are, of course, those same manufacturers and distributors and retailers. So do reviews then exist only as bait to get consumer eyeballs on the ads? Well, I think that's both a cynical and oversimplified way of looking at it. In reality, I think it's all of these things. And I also think that they're not necessarily at odds with each other the way you may initially think. Reviews can serve both buyers and sellers, and ads can too. But if you are someone who distrusts the major magazines, that being, for example, Stereophile, that I write for, just know that you would get immediately kicked out of Stereophile if you accepted compensation from a manufacturer or distributor in exchange for a review. Like, you would be out on your ass right away. And it goes further than that. If you want to purchase the product under review, which happens sometimes, there is something called accommodation pricing in the industry, which is a sort of discount for industry insiders. It's a generous discount normally, but it isn't universally available. You usually cannot actually buy the product under review because it's almost always scheduled to go somewhere else. These review samples tour the industry and they go from magazine to magazine, from reviewer to reviewer. But every now and then there's an opportunity to just purchase that unit or a unit from the manufacturer at a discount. But if you as a reviewer discuss that with the manufacturer prior to handing in your review, you discuss the price, you discuss, is it available to purchase, and any of that, that is also disqualifying. And I'm not 100% sure, I'm not speaking for Stereophile, but I'm pretty sure you'd be out of a job if you did that too. That is something you discuss only after the review is done. And these are strict guidelines. And the thing is, so I said, if you're someone who distrusts the major magazines have these sort of policies. The major magazines have ways of finding out. They're connected. The major magazines have policing and policies inherited down through the ages that help keep everyone in line. The new breed of self-employed, self-titled reviewers, like I was on this channel, don't have that sort of policing, don't have that sort of framework of moral code. Everyone's just acting according to their own values. And of course, what happens then is sometimes people stretch the boundaries a little bit of those values, of those rules, or what ought to be the rules. So yes, that happens. But my point is not that corruption happens. My point is that if your distrust is primarily directed at the major magazines, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. The major magazines are probably stricter and better organized in terms of moral code than anyone else in the industry. A Hifi magazine, or a solo reviewer for that matter, need to care about their revenue in order to be able to keep doing what they love. And a common conspiratorial suspicion is that reviews are made more favorable in exchange for advertising investments. But the people writing the reviews are almost always freelancers. Not even the big magazines have people on payroll anymore. And us freelancers, me being one of them, are paid per article. So we have no way into such a pay for play for, you know, favorable reviews in exchange for advertising. Like, where would I fit in that equation? It just doesn't hold water. So then you might, you know, move the goalposts and say, well, the editor might alter the conclusion of the review to be more favorable. And like, buddy, no. Who would want to keep putting their name to reviews that they get paid for, fixed amount per review, and then have it altered so it doesn't reflect their opinions? No, no, it just doesn't work that way. But okay, you can move the goalposts a little bit more, or find another set of goalposts maybe, and say that, well, what gets reviewed? How do you select out of all of the products out there what gets reviewed? Because sometimes you find something that you think is interesting and you look for reviews of it and you realize there are no reviews of this thing anywhere. No one's reviewing it. Well, what happens is most of the time I seek out products that I want to review. And yes, I check with the editor whether that's okay. My editor-in-chief needs to give the thumbs up. And that is sometimes declined because maybe the product isn't new enough. Maybe we've reviewed a bunch of products from the same manufacturer before. Maybe it doesn't have the requisite distribution in North America. Stereophile wants to ensure that their primarily North American audience can purchase the things they read about in the magazine, so they got to be available. So I can't review something that is only available in Europe in Stereophile, for example. Or sometimes maybe a brand is about to switch distributor, and in that case we'll hold off doing reviews until we know that that is resolved and availability is secured long term. So there's a lot of things that go into that, but I don't think, or I mean, I'm new at Stereophile. I'm joined this year, so what do I know, right? But I don't think that products are selected based on advertising. I just do not see the pattern. And sometimes the editor-in-chief or editorial group might recommend something or ask if, you know, do you want to review this or that? And I've said yes to 3 of them, I think. Because if they fit my sort of system and room and schedule, yeah, I'll do it. And now you might think, well, that is stuff that, you know, who knows what happens on the other side of that equation. Maybe that brand has sort of paid to get a review in the magazine, because I wouldn't know, right? Well, I do know that a couple of these at least have never been in ads in Stereophile that I've seen. I can't recall ever seeing ads for these brands in the magazine, yet the editor asks me if I want to review them. So I don't know, I don't think that holds up either. And as a reviewer, the trust of your readers and or viewers is the most valuable thing you have. Without it, you're nothing. So I think it would be very foolish to gamble with that trust. Now, of course, some really reckless and immoral people still do gamble with trust. We saw a major lawsuit about that thing the other week. So I'm not saying things are perfect. Humans are going to do human things. But to get back to the topic of this video, this is sort of, in summary, how I see it. Hi-Fi reviewing exists as a part of the audiophile ecosystem. And ecosystems have both symbiotic and parasitic relationships. Ecosystems also evolve. And survival of the fittest means that participants succeed long-term if they find their niche and also remain able to adapt. Success as a reviewer comes when you continuously provide entertainment and information and insight in reliable and trustworthy ways, while also affording to keep doing reviews. So reviews need readers and viewers, which they get by providing entertainment and information and insight and trustworthiness. And your eyeballs are the core currency that us reviewers live off of. And you should divert those eyeballs away from reviewers that don't provide entertainment and trust and insight and value. We all yap on about the subscribe button here on YouTube, but you should be very willing to hit unsubscribe as well. And so that is the wrap on this one. And the next video sort of relates to subscribe versus unsubscribe, because the topic is going to be what makes a good review. You can give me a little thumbs up if you thought this was interesting at all, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.